Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 450. Holy cow, they're starting to stack up. Hopefully, you guys have had an amazing Thursday. I've had a pretty good day myself, but looking to be an even better night. I've got Puget Sound Seeds in the house. How you doing, my friend? You want to say hello and tell us where we can find you, of course?
Yeah, we're up here in the Pacific Northwest. We're up in Mukilteo. We're just growing some classic strains up here and making some cool crosses and running some lines.
What do you got? What do you got in the pipe tonight?
Oh, right now we're smoking some gelato, 33.
Grown by you, I would hope.
No, something I purchased. We're waiting on the next harvest in Croptober.
Oh, that's tough. The in between is always tough, I think.
Yeah,
So
just depends on where you're at.
yeah. Well, I don't like to pay for it. That's all. The in between paying
Oh
for it
yeah,
can be
yeah,
painful,
nobody
I
wants to
guess.
pay for it. Yeah, yeah, no, usually I trade for it and stuff like that, but yeah, buying it's just dependent on, what kind of quality you're looking for and if you can find a good deal on it, basically. What
Me
about you? What are you
myself,
doing
I
now?
am
What are you trimming up?
some of this OKC that was gifted to me to by Prometheus Soil at the Bigfoot Lodge meetup there. He
Oh,
was nice enough to kind of give me a few of his samples to try out, and this has been pretty nice to be honest with you.
hmm,
So far, so good. Good job, Prometheus. If you're listening.
yeah. So what do you got growing there in the background?
Oh, that right there is a little bit of jelly bean and a little bit of barbecue gorilla version 2. And that's all you can see right there, anyways. Both of them are pretty good strains. I think there's some Velvet Punch that's in there as well. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, we're excited for our plants to grow up and flower out October.
We're down. We're down. So do you concentrate more on outdoor growing?
We have indoor and outdoor. We're just um, cloning everything because we put all our mothers outside to rejuvenate and then to flower out after I take clones off them one last time, and then bring the clones in into this clean room, brand new, fresh start, and then um, just root them all and then put them in bags after that, and we'll do our indoor. But yeah, we're just gonna do our croptober and then veg some plants up in some bags and then flower them out. We got a
Before we
nice
get
little.
too deep into the grow talk, first thing I usually ask you is when did cannabis enter your life? When was the first time with cannabis? If you don't mind sharing.
Well, I would say cannabis. I mean, has always been a part of my life because my parents used cannabis, my family used cannabis, so I was always around it. I um, probably tried cannabis around 10 or 11, and then 12 is when I really started smoking a lot. So I always just wanted to grow weed instead of having to hustle, and then get money to spend on a pot to smoke up for the year. But yeah, I started off, doing breeding projects when I was like probably 24. I'm now 31, so I've been here, growing here and there on my journey. That's what my passion's always been. I do a lot of hatch making and just seed breeding was, the last few years I've been doing that, and then now I'm just focusing on running lines out, and then just testing, everything that I've made and seeing what I want to keep out of everything.
So what made you? Well, you kind of told us you started growing because you didn't necessarily want to buy it, but what led you ultimately? I mean, when did it? Did was you a medical or did you just kind of take it on as most
Oh
of
yeah.
us did
Well,
pre
most of
medical kind of thing?
everything that we did was for medical reasons, but I wasn't quote unquote a medical patient at the time. And then like so I went and fought, the global marijuana marches with, and with normal, and then got the signatures and did all that for the medical marijuana, initiatives. And then then recreational pass and all that, and it kind of just messed up and destroyed the medical market up here in Washington and California and other places. But like it's starting to come back. We have a nice, community and quite a few medical markets now. So that's pretty cool. And so we're just going around. I'm going to be at the next 2021 Autoflower Cup. Um, it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to have a nice booth and a lot of seeds to give out, a lot of t-shirts we've been making lately.
I'd like to say first and foremost that thank you for being a foot soldier, man. Helping getting things started, man. We owe a lot to people like yourselves that, even though I'm not in Washington, people like yourself, state by state, getting those signatures, getting that on the ballot, helping it get legal in your state. We all owe a huge thank you to people like yourselves, man. Because I have a lot of friends that took place in that. I mean, myself personally, I did not, but I seen I was with quite a bit of times at hash bashes and cups and stuff like that when they were trying to get signatures. And
Mm.
even at cannabis events, it was hard for them to get a ear to listen to what they were trying to say and get a signature.
Oh yeah.
So, like I said, you put in some work, my friend. And it's
Oh
not
yeah.
easy getting those like that.
Well, when you walk around, just the events, the normal meetings, and then we would have like first Fridays, different like vendor markets, just regular art markets and stuff, and we go and walk around those type of places where there's a lot of people that are already in the vibe and already like arts and crafts, and of course they smoke weed and do other things, so it wasn't and then going in really going in front of like different stores and stuff, and after certain places change the rules, where you can't collect signatures at certain places now, and then the requirements for each signature all changed, and they made it basically harder to vote in certain things in certain states, but other places it's becoming more of a typical thing where psychedelics are being legalized, so that's pretty cool. That's a step forward, like Oregon. So we're seeing the step in the right direction.
So, tell us about the first grow. What was your first grow like? What were the first strains that kicked off this thing for you?
Man, well, I've always tried to grow weed as a kid, without any instructions. I just always try to start plants and grow them up, but I didn't really start flowering plants till I may have started one at like 13 or 14 and like 15. And that was it. And then maybe I would say, yeah, like 17, 18, 19, I had plants, and then we flowered a few. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had 1,000 watt, but we weren't, growing in the best conditions. It was hot, in the shed. And so the plants were all wispy. So yeah, I mean, that was probably in 2010. Oh no, 2009. Yeah, that's when I had a nice little flowered harvest, and then like it was like a staggered harvest because I would move plants in at different times and shit. But it's just when I was younger, didn't know. And then so as I got older, I became more focused about my passion, and decided to get into hash making. So I made a lot of hash and did rosin and different ethanol, winterized ethanol extracts. And now I'm just more focused on producing cultivars and different varieties and bringing new things, that people haven't really seen. And taking old classic cultivars and running those in the directions that I want to, with things that I want to play with, and then just working on a lot of different Gorilla Glue projects. I have a lot of different crosses of that, so it's been fun working with those. Some OG crosses and Gorilla Glues. Oh, yeah. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff right
You
now.
find
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you found a lot of medical benefit in the glue. Is that one of the reasons why you're breeding with it so much currently?
Yeah, yeah. Me and my lady find a lot of beneficial effects from the glue, and so that's why I like to breed with it. We have Thug Pug's Gorilla Breath. We had the original Gorilla Glue. We have, man, there was a few of them. We had Monkey Candy bred into a lot of different stuff, and we had like, um, uh, there's a few. I have it all written down. And we had Cosmic Glue, which is Subcool strain cross to Gorilla Glue. And we got a lot of Cosmic Glue crosses, so that's cool to work with. And so I'm just kind of running those in different directions. I made the F2s and then gave them out all as freebies and stuff. And I'm going to give some more out at the Autoflower Cup. But yeah, I mean, I just like working the blues.
That's awesome. So, what would you say your first solid, good run room would look like? Are you in soil? Are you in cocoa?
Always been soil. Never used any liquid nutrients. I've always stuck to using, in the beginning, I was using CalMag and then just BioAg full power. And then I wasn't using anything more than just Mycos, Azos, from mycorrhiza, and then, there was no real beneficials, so to speak, or microbe inoculation or any bokashi at that time. My buddy had been giving me some, and that was around like 2000 and like 14, 15, 16 when I really started getting into breeding and growing cannabis real tough, growing at least 24 plants, in one little room at a time. And then I'd have another whole room full of like 50 plants. But it was just, the bedroom, and then I had my flower room, and I was trying to stay within the medical limit of plants, which is always hard, because you always want to flower everything and test it out. But so I had a lot of mothers and a lot of things just, in veg, and then just flowering 24 at a time. So we had a lot of different stuff. We started out with a lot of TGA genetics. It was space candy, and then no, was it space candy? I can't remember. It was we had Jesus OG, we had Space Queen, we had a couple other things, but we only bred that Jesus OG, and that was like the first stuff that I was working with and testing out. And I have some friends that are working that stuff right now, and they've been growing some nice plants. They just keep cloning it and keep flowering it out, and so they like it. I don't have any more seeds from that because I had another seed, another seed project, and I just got those out as like my first little, hey, who wants to try these seeds out? And people wanted to purchase them afterwards, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just start working projects of my own and doing things and then releasing things slowly. And that's how it all started. I just started slowly releasing like small batches, and now I'm releasing larger batches because I spent, a year just seed breeding basically and creating massive amounts of seeds. And now I'm just working through different projects. I got a lot of smaller projects from, I pollinate, little plants here and there, and just have them all around the garden. So I'll just collect the seeds off of them and all that. So I got at least like 50 to 75 projects from last year, all completed, just crosses. And now I'm gonna work them again and keep running them, one project at a time, basically. And so I'm working autoflower male right now. I'm getting the pollen off of it, and gonna work some autoflowers next year.
So was your experience with hash one of the reasons for starting down your breeding journey?
Yeah, because I needed more cultivars that dumped better hash, because all this stuff was just kind of generic at the dispensaries, and trying to pay for it and turn it into hash is ridiculous.
What are some of your favorite strains for hash?
Where's My Bike, OG Kush, Gorilla Glue. Um, there's just some really heavy yielders. Old school, like this Blue Dreams sour diesel cotton candy hybrid I used to get from Cali. The big ass frosty fucking nugs would yield so much fucking rosin. Like I've had some pretty good dumpers, just different crosses and hybrids. And those are the main ones though that I really like to stick around. Not a whole lot of cookies, dumps. Um, uh, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't dump. There's a bigger list of that.
So, what were the first two initial strains you tried to cross?
Oh, first two. The Jesus OG was the first cross that we made, and so we did that, and then it just sat for a long time. And then what was the next one? We did. We had the Critical Purple Kush, and that was times Plum Crazy, and then we had I don't know. There was a few of them. We had this no this White Widow, um, Dutch Dutch Delight, and Snowball, and maybe there's a couple others that we crossed with a couple different males, and so that was the first major breeding project. The other stuff was just sparsely in between with other people, and just at their grows and stuff. But I wouldn't even count it. And so I would say the I got some guys running the Plumberry Blast right now, which is the name of that strain of that cross, the Plumber's Crack times the Critical Purple Kush. And then we have a couple of buddies running the White Widow times, which is Tangy 24K, Larry, Kosher, and we crossed that male to the Snowball, the Dutch Dutch Delight, the White Widow. I think that was it. Gorilla Glue G13. That was another one that we crossed it to. And then so that was like the first few breeding projects that we did. And then I did a couple of smaller projects after that. And then the last big one was a Gorilla Breath. There was the Blueberry Rhino Cross. And then there was the White Widow, White Queen, Gorilla Glue, Trainwreck, So Mango, and then Old Man times So Mango, all times Monkey Candy from Genesis Genetics. And so that's Blueberry Kush, Blueberry Candy times Cinnamon Cookies, and Gorilla Glue. So I crossed that back into the Gorilla Glue to bring back vigor and to see what happens. And I brought that, I took the Cosmic Glue and put that in the Gorilla Glue to see, what the vigor would bring, what would come from that. And then so just kind of bringing things back to the original glue line, all the different projects that people have done, just to see, how it plays out when you cross it back into the original parental stock. because that's the original Gorilla Glue cut. We already flowered that out, and it's fire. It's probably the best thing we've ever smoked as far as Gorilla Glue. And we got
So
that.
I can't help but wonder what was your draw to the TGA back
Um,
in the day running that gear.
well, I mean, I don't know. My buddy had just bought like $2,000 package of all his gear, and then got a bunch of cool shit. And I was just like, wow, okay, cool. Like that. I mean, all these sound cool and shit. I didn't know anything about TGA. I didn't know anything about Subcool. My buddy just bought all the shit, and he was influencing me to do. He wanted me to do soil with rock nutrients. So it was a fusion, like a hybrid system. So he's using soil based, liquid nutrients and shit, and flushing everything out. And so the shit was bomb. I wasn't gonna deny it. I smoked it and bought it all fucking, all day long, pounds of it. But I just had my own feelings and opinions that I knew that it could be possible to grow it all natural, and I just didn't know the techniques or the methods. So eventually I just kept learning more and more and more, and kind of everybody progressed as a whole. But I always kept to soil and organic. And I thought it would just be better always to grow outdoors.
So much more, it brings so much out more out of the plants, the elements, the winds, the stress from the rains,
I
all
mean,
that. I think you're right.
they taught us that in school, when I took all the classes for horticulture and agriculture and plant and leaf anatomy, and always being out in the woods and just always being around people that like plants and taught me about plants. And I was just like, well, it just seems that I've been taught that they grow better out in the wild, or in their natural environment. You try to replicate that as best as you can, or just put it out there and let it be, and try to give it as minimal, you know, shit, just try to water it, let nature fucking handle it.
So, how did the first crosses fare? I mean, did you bred them out? Were they? Because not everything, it may look good on paper, but sometimes, what actually comes out might not actually be as good
Yeah.
as you thought. So,
Well, luckily I
how
got
was
to
the first
try
round?
luckily I got to try all the, females from the male that I bred with. I got to try all the flower and look at all the, flower, and it was all frosty, it was all dank, sticky, it was all awesome stuff to work with. So I knew what I was getting myself into. And then um, you know, I released the seeds to veterans and medical patients to test out, and to run, and they've had great success. And those plants look phenomenal to me when I see them. I'm like, wow, well, I can't wait to try them. And so, I'm waiting for people to bring back the results for me to try, versus, what they report back. So I want to try things. But I'm actually just running things right now and testing a couple things of some crosses that we made last year. And so I'm working some other stuff that some other people worked last year as well, and then some more stuff from another group of people, or this lady that was working some stuff. So I got a few different projects just in my backyard and shit. And now I'm just waiting for all that to flower out, and then I'm gonna work some other lines that I got doing. But I got a whole list. I got couple skunk ones. I got some gorilla breath. That's a huge ass plant, a blueberry rhino, and then a gorilla glue G13, a white widow, so mango, and that's just one little plot. And then we have some cherry limeade, times cocaine hippos, and then we got like some Gary Payton, and then we got some Ethiopian cherry limeade that I'm testing, and then we got some. Uh, we have some ice cream cake, like cherry limeade seeds that I wanted to test out. What else? Oh yeah, we got super lemon haze, we got crescendo, and fruity pebbles as well. And I'm excited about those plants because those are nice clones that I got. They're old school. They've been ran for a long time. So there's a lot to work with. There's a lot more I'm not even naming back there because half of it I don't even know names of, but some of it's volunteers, you know, all that kind of stuff. We got a whole garden in the front just of all volunteers. That surprised me.
I really appreciate the fact that you help out the vets and some of the folks in need with some testers there. That's pretty cool, brother. Seriously.
Oh, that's the only place I'm really going is to help veterans and medical patients at this place called 22 Too Many in Olympia, and that's pretty much where all my seeds go. Besides to different states, I know a lot of seed seed vendors and different people that want to sell seeds in different places, and especially facilities and different dispensaries where they work at. So I was like just sending everything to all these different people. I'm sending a package to Africa to Sweetwater Aquaponics, and so that's going to be cool to watch them grow all my stuff out. And so I'm sending stuff just to give to certain people. That way they can grow it, and that way I don't have to really do any marketing. They can do it, and they can show the quality that comes from my work, and I'll just let them preach it up for me, because my goal isn't to try to obtain fame or trying to be popular or anything like that. I just do what the fuck I do because I love it. And when I'm gone and my strains are still here, that's going to be my legacy. So whatever happens, right now is just I'm just kicking it, smoking weed, doing what I like to do. If people want to buy the shit, then buy it, cool. I mean, I'm here, and after I'm gone, I just want to see that like a lot of my shit's out there being grown in people's gardens, and that's like one of my goals. And it helps people. Good shit. Good medicine that helps me should help other people, I
That's
think.
one of the beautiful things about cannabis is, man, that it can keep giving. You find that one that works for you, in your case, that GG4 like that,
Yeah.
you run that thing, keep everything good, man. That can be a lifer for it. That's a beautiful thing, man.
Sorry, this jalapeno jalapeno mango lemonade got me. Got me in the back of the throat. Yeah, spicy.
It's awesome, man. I've never seen it. Never
Yeah,
seen
no,
it.
it's
How is it?
at Trader Joe's. It's a pretty good joint. Man, it's so good. I tried to inhale it. Let's just put it that way. Try to inhale that shit.
Nice, nice. I'm a kombucha drinker myself, man. If I can see the health benefits in that, man.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
nice.
it's good. The only downside
Probably
is
helps
heartburn.
open up them lungs.
Yep. Keeps my nose clean because I get a stuffy nose and shit. So that's what it helps with. Cheers. This is a piece from Boro Beans. Boro_beans, and he's from Ohio.
It's a nice piece.
It's a pretty cool hammer. Wow. You're not going out, Tigger. Sorry. Got a loud cat. He likes to talk.
His voice and his opinion.
Yeah. All right, Tigger. Can't go out.
That's one thing. One thing I do like about cats is they don't take no for an answer. It's pretty much their way.
Yeah, all my animals argue. And then there's this guy. He's the most ornery of them all. He's a
All
feisty
right.
Chihuahua. But yeah,
So let's talk about well, let's keep to growing there. So you're in soil. Do you have any do you mix your own soil? Are
yeah,
you in living
yep.
soil?
We do our own composting. So I compost all my spent soil into my compost pile, and we let it sit for like a year and some change, and then we finally just put it. We applied it all onto our beds, our plots, and then we put straw on it. We put more compost. We put more straw, and then we put more compost, and then we put um, was it cedar or yeah, I think cedar wood chips and sawdust all along the top layer to kind of mulch it in and to keep the pests away, suppress them, or I could just see them. And pretty much all I see running around is a shitload of spiders, which is fucking awesome. So that's my IPM is spiders. There's literally hundreds, thousands. It's cool. I seen a couple slugs today, big ass slugs. I had to fucking pull them out. They were like that big, and then another one like that. I just chucked them across the fence. I said, "See ya," because they'll just straight eat your plants. That's the only thing you really got to worry about outdoor is a couple pests, the slugs and aphids and shit. If you ever had that problem, maybe some mites.
When do you so do you go from indoor to outdoor? Is that correct?
I had to go from indoor to outdoor with all the mother uh, plants that I had because we had some mites and then we fought the mites off and then aphids kicked our ass. So we just brought all the infected plants and all the plants, just put them outside in the ground and kept them vegging since like January. We had them in a temporary greenhouse and just started planting them all along the side of the house. And so they've been vegging and went into short-term flower and then re-veg. So they're all big and bulky now, big old branched out fucking bushes. So we're just waiting for everything to get back to size. Everything's healed. Once you take a plant and you you open up the ground and then you put the plant in there and don't drop any of the infected dirt around, you just push the natural soil back onto the fucking infected soil and bury the stem. And that way it just kind of conceals it like a cocoon. And all the natural microbes, nematodes, and all the beneficials, the mycorrhiza will just like, and the worms will just move all the bad shit out. It'll kind of heal the soil and the plant will, rejuvenate. And that's like an old school kind of, some old school cats taught me that. And then I read it in like an old grower's book and shit. And it was just, whenever you have problems with plants, you can take them and put them outdoors in some healthy, clean soil and it just rejuvenates. And then you take clones off of it. It's almost like a natural tissue culture, so to speak, is what I've heard it referenced as. Don't quote me on it, but this is what I mean. But yeah, I've been doing that and it seems to work perfect for any infected plants. And now everything's coming back to life. Everything's been fucking lush and doing great. So I'm just waiting for everything to fucking start flowering and I can start pollinating bottom branches and shit. Weeding out all the males. Just yank, yank, yank. No males this season. I already know what I'm using. Unless I see something that's really
So
phenomenal, like a big male that's just like standing out from all the fucking rest. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll keep it and collect the fucking pollen and then take it right down. But yeah, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
so how many we'll say successful harvests have you had outdoors?
Well, it's hard to get a successful crop in the Northwest because you gotta beat the mold, the powdery mildew botrytis, and you gotta beat the fucking the October rains basically. Yeah, so in the frost, so you got to beat all that, and usually you got to have fast flowering varieties to do that. So Anything that takes a long time to flower, you're usually cutting down early and then just turning into hash. You're just hoping that the season goes well, which it's probably like 6 times out of 10 it won't. And so some things will pull through. A lot of my stuff is pulled through, even though, the stuff that doesn't, I don't tend to stick or I don't keep it in my garden. I try to work things, into my rotation that do well in my environment, in my area. So that's what I breed towards, is things that are like acclimated to this region and this climate zone. So they just do well for us or the people around here. If I send it off to other places, like, I think it's already, got powdery mildew resistance from being up here. Could breeding in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of humidity, a lot of moisture content in the air. So I'm just trying to weed out all the different things that I don't like, as far as, some plants are actually fucking pest magnets. And you'll notice that in your garden. You'll leave those plants there and you'll just be like, oh wow, like the fucking aphids really like the white widow, or wow, they really like the fucking gorilla breath. You know what I mean? We'll just try to fucking, breed with those, use them for, just flowering out, and then see if we can breed that out of that plant, starts. Like I had a Congo, and that plant was right in the middle of all these infected plants, and none of those fucking mites or aphids ever touched that Congo plant. And I was like, well, shit, that's something you definitely want to play with in your breeding projects, and carry that, hopefully try to narrow that down, and try to fucking keep those traits incorporated in the lines that you're breeding with, because you can breed that out real quick, especially if you're working with like double X or feminized genetics that have multiple sets of chromosomes and shit, and they have dual or triple paired bad genetics, different traits of like hermaphroditic tendencies or whatever, so it could be actually you're breeding bad things into your shit if you don't really pay attention. So I'm careful about what feminized stuff I've ever incorporated into my work, and the Gorilla Glue is something that has hermaphroditic tendencies. So that's why I run, and see, how well the cut is that I got. And then I actually bred with it. And I knew, if I bred something else that was good, I ran the Cosmic Glue and I found some herms in the Cosmic Glue. And so I pulled out the ones that didn't herm and I bred with those. Yeah, I mean, I just always trying to weed out the stuff that I don't like, undesirable, traits. And I'm sure that nobody else wants hermaphroditic traits or anything like that. Stuff that isn't a fucking pest magnet, But it's just
So, oh, go ahead, please.
just what everybody else is trying to do,
So, is there any type of structure that you're looking for? Do you like to let them grow up au naturel to go outdoors, or are you trying to turn them into smaller bush-like plants? What's your ultimate? What's your ideal outdoor plant?
For outdoor, um, I'm just looking at everything. I already know how all the stuff, half the stuff that I'm working with grows outdoors. A few plants I don't know how they grow outdoors, but they look like they're fucking doing phenomenal. They do a lot better from than when they were indoors in my room. So we'll just see how everything goes. I'll get to see the comparison. I'll get to see everything's going to be flowered out in fucking full, nugs and not seeded. So that's cool. Get to smoke everything. Not just sample the top nugs.
Are there some strains that you find that are better ran indoors than outdoors? That are just, we've spoke that we both kind of
Well,
agree that the better flower can be some
all my
traits be
stuff
brought
came
out
from outdoors.
outdoors.
All my stuff came from outdoor breeding projects, and it's been outdoor grown for like some of it's been grown outdoors for 30 years. out here in Washington. So all my stuff is all came from outdoors, all of it. That I can vouch for because I got all my stuff from outdoor growers. So I give credit to all the
Well,
people that all the gear that I work with on my website. I give credit to all the breeders that I work, that I've gotten their males or worked on their farm and got seeds from or whatever.
that's not to say that, just because it came from outdoors doesn't mean
Yeah,
that you've had a few better runs that just turned out amazingly better
I
indoors
grew
or just do better.
I grew an outdoor plant indoors that just was shit. It was called Stirberry, and that was it was a blueberry, strawberry cough, and then like something else. It was a hybrid, and it just did not perform. It was just crap. And I was like, yeah, I'll never grow that shit again. It just looked terrible. I was like, fuck this. But no, I mean, that's the only bad experience. There's only been like really a couple plants out of maybe, I gotta say, I'd say like two or three plants that I really didn't like out of 150 strains that I've grown in my time. You know, all the other stuff that I've gotten was either stuff, that I knew was good and it was worth clones because I've gotten a lot of clone stuff. But the seeds that I've popped have always been um, just unique. They haven't been what you fucking see on the package by any means. You'll get a variation of all kinds of shit, but I found some cool ass stuff that was just like peach chronic, or like I had some royal green crack that smelled like just Fruit Loops OG Kush Pine Sol. It was fucking cool. Like I've had some really cool and fortunate successful runs and stuff. And I just don't encounter too many crappy genetics. The only crappy stuff that I've seen is some cookies, hybrids. A lot of cookie stuff can be crappy, but also I found so many gems. A lot of stuff that we smoke on a daily for medicinal purposes is cookies incorporated. So it's just all about finding good things. And I've been getting into the science of feminized breeding and stuff, and you know doing it like that is like opening up a Pandora's box. You can find some unicorns, but then you're gonna open up some bad genetic fucking traits being paired up and then passed on, to other fucking plants, and that'll just go in directions that you don't want. I think maybe that's why there's a lot of herm cookies and a lot of herm shit floating right now. But I just try to stay away from all the herm stuff. Try to weed that out of anything that I'm going to be working with, and then once I find the stable stuff, if I'm working with anything that has any herm problems, like the cosmic glue, I really wanted to work that because it was Subcool's one of his last projects with Here's the Farm. Here's the Farm, always, supports me and all that. And Subcool was always supporting, even though, I was breeding with this stuff. He never really cared. It was cool. Like, and then like Gorilla Glue, like, Josie Wales and Lone Waddy, all those guys had passed away. So I really want to just breed their stuff because it worked. And, I wanted to do it like as a legacy, like a tribute. And then I've given out a lot of seeds, and I'm going to give out a lot of those Cosmic Glue seeds. So everybody has, one of his last projects. Because I like,
Patrick's a good dude. I've had him on the show. And that space candy. Oh man, I grew that out, and I actually bought last time. I bought extra packs to sit on because it's
yeah,
one of my more favorite ones. To be honest
yeah,
with you, so candy-ish, man. You open that up, it's like rock candy, kind of a little bit. Just so
yeah.
many different flavors and such a
I like,
beautiful flower.
I
Oh
like some
man,
of the
that they can be pretty.
I find that TGA has a lot of cheesy tones in their strains and a lot of cherry tones and a lot of like chronic candy flavors. And that's what I really enjoyed is you could find some really heavy candy flavored stuff. And that was cool. What, Tigger? Quit meowing.
Yeah, much Much respect to Sub. I miss that cat. I probably would be doing this today if he were alive.
So one of my close buddies, B Draw, was close to, B Draw 24. He's in a
Another
wheelchair.
alpha
He's got
there.
alpha. He's an alpha patient. I took him to one of his first medical marijuana events, and he was too like he had a lot of social anxiety, and he had that oxygen tank, so it was really hard for him to get out of the house. So I took him out to it was the 710 Fest, and we had gotten VIP, and it was really cool. And that was like the start for him where he really got out and started going to a lot of events and stuff like that. And he actually hooked me up with these cosmic glue seeds after Subcool died. And he just wanted me to grow them out and stuff and enjoy, And so I figured I always, and this is before I even knew what cosmic glue or anything tasted like from that line. And I was like, I always wanted something that tasted like Mountain Dew, like a chronic Mountain Dew. And I shit you not, like I pulled, a pack of 20 out, popped them all, like 6 survived, 3 were fucking males, and then 3 were females, 2 were herms, 1 was solid. And I was like, fuck yeah. Um, they all smelled like chronic Mountain Dew, and one was more so than the other. That was the one that had like 2 or 3 bananas that shot off of the plant. So I did pollinate and keep those seeds, and I did give those out for people to test out. And then I kept that one plant that didn't herm, and it had less of a Mountain Dew funk to it. But I knew that I was going to get more of that from back crossing, the male to the female, the cosmic glue. I could pull those back out. I just want that. I want to call it Mountain Blue, instead of Mountain Dew. So that's what I'm really going towards. I want to find, that Mountain Blue, but I know somebody had already made that strain and named it Mountain Blue, but I want to find my own Mountain Blue, and really have a Mountain Dew flavor. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If I'm stepping on anybody's name, I'm going to call it what I want, Mountain Blue, it tastes like it. Fuck it, you know? But yeah, I'm not going to go and try to like take somebody's name and all that shit. But I want to breed something that is a Mountain Blue, because I thought about that name a long time ago. And I was like, I'm going to make something one day, and it's going to taste like Mountain Dew, motherfuckers. But yeah, Peach Chronic and Mountain Dew. That's what I'm looking for. Those are the gems, because I've had them before.
Everybody likes Mountain Dew. It's
Yeah,
Mountain
fucking
Dew,
lemon
right?
lime. Yeah. I've had some good like Mexican chronic or some good California chronic that had like a limey, piney chronic taste. It was bomb.
So, how are your strains performing outdoors? I mean, and what's the flowering time on most of the stuff that you're producing?
They're gonna start flowering. Some like the Fruity Pebbles started flowering, started shooting out hairs, but everything should start flowering here in the next week, maybe 2 weeks. And then it'll finish off late August, early October before the freeze and the rains and all that stuff. Hopefully, but my stuff's underneath like a covered area. Half of it's underneath like an eave, so it'll stay mostly dry. Some of the leaves and nugs might get wet, but most of it'll stay dry. So I'm not really worried about it. It should be fine. We'll see. We'll see. But I got another
That's
dry.
enough.
We got a dry farm spot back there where I'm really excited to see how that goes, because those plants are the biggest, and I haven't even watered them but like 2 times the whole season since January, and they're just
That's pretty
giants.
damn awesome. So, how do you set up a dry farm? I mean, how's that work? Explain
So I just lay down a thick layer. I go and shovel, like I'll pull up the earth, like I'll just push the shovel in and pull the dirt up, and then not really move it around, just aerate kind of the soil by shoving the shovel in it a bunch of times. And then I'll just take the first like 6 to 8 inches, and then I'll just put the compost and shovel it in with the first 6 to 8 inches. And then I'll put like bioag I'll put some dry amendments in there, and then I'll put some straw, some more compost, some more straw, and then I'll plant the plants right in there. And then I'll water it just a few times, and then I'll just let it sit the whole season. It just stays wet, stays rained on enough, and then right around, I'd say mid-July, no, early July to late August is when you really got to water it a few times because it gets so dry out here for a few months. So it's kind of turning into like California climate up here during the summer times because it's really been fucking hot and dry the last few years. It's kind of transitioning. Maybe the poles are shifting and the whole climate's shifting as well. So maybe we're just going to transform a little bit into that Northern California climate that they wish they still had. You know, it's too dry over there now.
From what I've seen or what I pay attention to, you're right. The poles are shifting very quickly.
I think that we might have a pole flip here soon, or it's just transitioning, you know, more like faster than usual, or and that's why we're having these huge like swings and different weather patterns and just weird shit happening.
It's for sure, man. I've had some weird weather up here, man. And I'm in like mid northern Michigan. God, I hate doing
Oh,
the Michigan thing, but like here, I'm I'm a good ways up, and
yeah.
man, we've had some like there was a couple times in this week. Snow example, man. Another example, man. We've had some good 90-degree days, drop down to 50-degree nights. So a huge swing. High tomorrow. Well, it's been like 92. Today was close to 90. High tomorrow, 72.
Oh yeah. That's
So
yeah.
I've we've even had back in like first part of July, we had some what do you call it? Cold nights. I mean, next to 36 degrees, under 40-degree nights, summer nights up here, which I was like, man, I, we have a pretty rough climate to grow
That's
in
a
up
huge
here
swing.
too outdoors.
We've had a
It
couple
is.
nights like that, but it hasn't been like that consistently. I'm gonna go catch.
That's when bro, I see those kind of temperatures and swings, and I think my lucky stars I'm indoors. To be
Oh
honest with
yeah,
you.
temperate weather indoors, controlled environment. Huh? Oh, I need to reload this bolt.
Please do. Please do. I need to roll another one up myself.
Yeah, get it. So yeah, I've got
So
some cool strains on our menu on the website right now. If you guys are interested, if anybody's interested in seeds, you can check out.
please tell us about some of them. You got the
Yeah,
time? Yeah,
yeah,
they're listening. You might as well.
yeah. We got a train wreck cross, original train wreck, and that's crossed to a male that we had gotten and pulled from Monkey Canny from Genesis Genetics, and so that one is Gorilla Glue with Cinnamon Cookies, which is two of my favorite strains already. And then they have Blueberry Kush, Blueberry Candy Incorporated. So that male I dumped on a bunch of females. One of them was the Trainwreck. That's the original Trainwreck. It grows real big, real large, lengthy, and it has like dense, compact, smaller size nugs. You know, that's how the Trainwreck grows. So obviously breeding with you're going to find different structures, you know, in the progeny. I haven't ran that out, tested that out. That's why I'm selling a lot of $20 packs right now for because I had so many seeds. I was like, well, people want seeds, so they want deals on seeds, and I just said, well, I have untested stuff, so I'll just release all the $20 seeds on the $20 holler menu, and then I have my work projects like the bomb shit, you know, the rare exotic, or the limited edition packs, they're a little bit more pricier, 150 pack. But yeah, that's all stuff that I know has worked. I've worked it, I've ran it, a couple times, or just loved the way it's been ran by multiple people. So I already knew how it was going to be. So the progeny, is what I'm working on. F2s and F3s this season. Next season, I'll have F3s and F4s, because I'll have a lot of different stuff pollinated on the bottom branches of things that I'm pulling out of different projects that I've been a part of or have worked on myself. So I've got like multiple, like at least 5 or 6 plots, and then like within those plots, at least 2 or 3 projects sometimes within these plots. Just different, batches of seeds. I have ADD, so I have all these different things going on in my head. I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Which one's your hash producer?
My favorite hash, or the biggest hash producer?
That's good. Good way to divide it up. Well, I'll let you answer your own question, because you're right. That's two different questions.
Well, the blueberry rhino dumps a lot of fucking keef, and it's so stinky, it's so delicious, but it's not giving me a kick that I want, So I go for more of like the cocaine hippos, or like the OG Kushes. If it grows out good, I got some Ghost OG that smells and looks phenomenal. I've already crossed the Ghost OG and the Cosmic Glue together, so I have the seeds to play with already. I'm excited about that. Old school Ghost OG, that's just bomb, frosty, and then times a good solid fucking Cosmic Glue male. And I just have that put to the side. So there's going to be a lot of cool little projects that I'm popping this season after Croptober. I'll be popping some more seeds and putting them in the ground and stuff in my greenhouse.
Jay Hutchins in chat would like to know, where can you find what is that website again?
PugetSoundSeeds.com, and it's www.PugetSoundSeeds.com. Puget Sound Seeds. You can find me at PugetSoundSeeds.co on Instagram, which is my main photo account, and then Puget Sound Seeds for my photo, my regular, like, just personal page, where I just hardly post any pictures on it. Then you'll find like Puget Sound Seed Bank, Puget Sound Seeds, like a few other, ghost accounts that I made on my own, because I didn't want other people trying to create similar accounts and all that shit. So you'll find the 2 main accounts. And then there's
What's
also
the average flower time on your strains?
Oh, well, a lot of them flower about the same time. There's only a couple of them that take a little bit longer. I think the longest. The train wreck was quick. The blueberry rhino was probably 8 to 9 weeks, and then the gorilla glue is just the standard 8 to 9 weeks. You can even get it harvest a little bit sooner, like 72 days is the average on that one. I got a range, like the So Mango. That's a fast finisher, I should say. And then that freaking Super Lemon Haze, I already know that's a long flower cultivar, so that's going to be a little bit of hassle for me, but let's see if we can squeeze it out. And then most of the stuff that I have is like fucking probably 8 to 10 weeks, or maybe a little bit sooner than that, just a couple here and there. But yeah, 2 months, 2.5 months on some.
You make any teas or anything like that? Do you How are you feeding? Do you feed anything other than straight up water in your indoor gardens?
Indoor garden, we have Good Earth Organics, Dry Amendments. We have BioAg. We have Dino Myco. We have Bokashi Earthworks microbes. We mix our own Bokashi. We do our own compost inoculation, foliars. I take and spray my plants with soap nuts for IPM, soil drenched soap nuts. Soap nuts kill aphids and mites and all that dumb shit. And then the spiders just eat up all the rest that may be floating around. Um, what else? Not much else. I don't see any deficiencies ever. Just compost, and microbes and uh, mycorrhiza, dinomyco inoculations. I just take the bioag, the microbes, and the dinomyco, and I make a little fucking juice slurry, and then I just spray it and dump it all over my plants at least every, well, 2 times a month max. But they love it. They grow another like 6 inches after I water them with that stuff. I should do it more, but I'm just like, just let nature do it. See what happens.
So, what's your favorite hash method for the
Ooh,
dry sift versus
dry,
bubble for
dry sift.
rosin?
Bubble hash is all right. Just depends on every strain washes differently. I don't like how some strains wash. Some cultivars are just all bomb in the mouth, but don't produce any hash. Some will produce better dry sift. Some will produce better bubble. Most will extract through BHO. Some will process phenomenal through rosin pressing, through pressing the hash, and then others will press dark ass shitty fucking rosin through the hash, and then you have to press the flower, and the flower press is amazing, like gold or blonde, and you're like, what the fuck? How come it doesn't translate? So you got to run each cultivar multiple ways and find out how it displays or unveils itself in the best way, so you get all the characteristics and all the flavors and terpenes that you want, and then you proceed to wash the rest of the batch after you've tested it in different ways. But typically, I go for flour rosin or a nice dry sift or any type of, you know, hash keef press, however you want to say it, hash rosin or keef rosin or bubble rosin. I usually go for rosin or I buy diamonds and sauce from cool brands. They have good deals on high quality product, you know. But yeah, I got a rosin press. I usually press a lot of rosin. I do dry sifting. Barely do washing unless I got a cultivar that I know washes well. I've got some cultivars that I know wash well, but I haven't been able to produce enough material to wash. Now this season I will be able to, because last season, the season before were all seeds. So I just ran everything for seeds, made my projects, got my seed bank, my portfolio built up, and now I just have to work those lines in the directions that I want. See what
You ever feed that bubble water to your plants?
Bubble water, yeah, I put that on the compost. The potatoes in the compost pile love it.
I actually feed it to my plants. They love it as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I just got to be careful because some of the stuff that I've washed, because I wash a lot of stuff from other farms, and it might have aphids, it might have mites and all that shit. So I just put it in the compost, and all that shit just like naturally fucking works itself out. That's why I let it sit for like a year and a half.
Pretty smart when you're washing other people's stuff too. Like so,
Yeah,
never
because I know they
considered
got
that
aphids.
back.
I know that's where I got my aphids, was their farm. So I just deal with it. And it's not like they're
Yeah, I
really
only
affecting my
wash my
plant.
own material, so I didn't think of that, to be honest with
No, I have a hash company where I process for I-502 and a bunch of other different markets, different states. I do advising or consulting, whatever you want to call it, and I go to different places and help set up solventless hash infrastructure. I can do winterized ethanol extracts, but I strongly moved away from it. I just went straight towards unadulterated or lightly adulterated hash production or solventless hash production. And I just want to do healthy, all natural. That seems to be the best expression or representation of what the actual flower smells like in a concentrated form. Was probably the flower rosin or a nice bubble hash or a washed rosin, live rosin or something.
I think that's probably one of the first times where I've heard somebody actually reference a good flower rosin. Uh,
Oh,
every time I talk to a hash artist
yeah.
about flower rosin, it's always kind of that nose up, like, oh, why would you do that?
Oh, you
I
know
mean,
why? Because they don't want
uh,
to take the time to fucking pack all those bags with a pound of weed. They'd rather process that 1 pound of weed and make a couple ounces of hash and then press the hash with a couple bags instead of 16 bags or 32 bags, however you want to press it, what kind of press. So it is harder to press the mass of flour versus the mass of hash, which is only 2 ounces, is like a couple little fucking bags. You put on a press and boom, it's fucking done. Versus however many bags you got to pack a fucking pound of flour into. You get what I'm saying? So that's why they don't like doing flour rosin. That's my opinion because I'm a hash maker. I don't know what everybody else's problem is. I don't know why they don't do it. I know the reason that I don't do it as much, but the quality of product is far superior. And if anybody wants to argue about it, they can argue with the wall because I'm smoking it and they're not. And if they don't want to smoke it, that's their choice. If they want to press a bunch of flowers and top shelf colas and see the difference, and if they want to argue with themselves about it, that's cool. But I'm not going to argue. I know the difference. I've been smoking it.
and that's what always leads me up to, when I ask the question of other hash artists, there
Oh, and
is,
I've
in
gotten in heated debates with some of the top hash makers, and I don't want to stir any pots, but I've gotten in some really passionate debates with passionate folks. Respect to Frenchy Cannoli. We have had our differences. A lot of people have had differences with a lot of people in the industry, but he didn't consider flower rosin, uh, in my eyes. He didn't uh, he didn't think it was like a type of hash, so to speak. And I call it all hash if it comes from the plant. So it was simply that. But it was just juvenile, little argument, and we all love hash. We're all passionate. So that's how some of us get. We get a little passionate sometimes. Passion for the hashing. But no,
well,
like
I
some
watched
people
some
don't
hash
recognize it or
myself.
don't know it. They don't know about flower rosin and hash rosin.
See, I guess here where I'm in the I'm naive here because I don't press flour,
Oh,
but
okay.
I do make a lot of bubble hash. I do make a lot of bubble hash, so I'm on the other side of that coin a little bit, and it's a hard work. As far as bubble hash, I'm always
Yeah.
very pleased with my end product. So it
Mhm.
kind of the hard work then take it and to smash it into something else kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I've worked so hard on a quality product anyway. But that's why what that proposes me to the question of, usually is how come you just don't get it from flour? Because when you're making you when you put that flour to the water, you're already losing some terms and whatnot. So to take
Oh,
you take
yeah.
it that far and to press it again, to, clean it up, I don't know. I'm happy with the bubble. If I'm looking for a super, terpy rosin product, it only makes sense to me in my mind to get it straight from the flower where I'm not losing as much terps and
Yeah.
good stuff, oils, whatnot. Right? You're the head artist. You tell me.
Some people want to argue about a degradation through the heat and pressure and all that. But to me, the degradation or loss is far less than some of the processes that I've done myself. So when I press top cola nug and it's bomb. Usually it concentrates in that smell and taste and increases. It doesn't lose. Sometimes I'll lose terpenes during different extraction processes, whether it be BHO or if it's ethanol extracts, and if you're not refining your methods and doing things correctly, you'll definitely lose those terpenes or ethyls, alcohols, and flavonoids, all that different stuff that just evaporates at a far lower temperature. It evaporates just at room temperature. Some of those things, once you crack open those calyx or bust open those fucking different bracts or whatever inside the nuggets and release those smells. So you'll lose that during the extraction process or even before. So processing live is the whole goal to like preserve all that stuff.
Which I kind of believe you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in.
Oh, you're fine.
You're right though. As far as if I'm gonna press something into another stage too, the dry sift again retaining so much more of the good stuff to take it to the next phase or a rosin press.
But it's not to say that
Too much
flour
work
rosin,
in the bubble to.
it's not to say flour rosin is superior than any other method. I smoke a lot of washed, bubble hash rosin that's fucking phenomenal, one hitter quitter. And I purchase a lot of stuff from the 502 market that's rosin and diamonds and stuff. I just love to test things out. So, and there's a lot of good ass hash, and washed rosin out there that's just killing it. But then, the other half is just like, it's just like, you get out what you put in, and it's just not like the best flour, in my opinion. Some strains just don't do it for me. I'm real specific, I guess. I think everybody is. They have their own thing, their own strains. So I smoke things that my lady doesn't really get the same kick off of, vice versa. So I like to alternate. That's another thing.
I can believe it.
You smoke too much of one thing, you get burnt out on it.
So, and for me, that's a lot of times like the oranges and stuff like that, man. I can appreciate the oranges, but it's not my jam. To be honest with you. Makes good flavorful extracts. Again, seems to be more of the ladies' favorite. The oranges seem
I
to
love
work well.
love the orange creamsicle. I love the tangerines. I love the oranges and the flavorful stuff. But I noticed that it may not get me as high, so I'll definitely smoke that stuff. But after I've smoked something that already like kicked my ass, or maybe before or whatever. I don't know. I have to smoke it in conjunction.
So, what are some of the ass kickers that you know of right now? You can reach
Um,
out for some of the most.
I've been smoking on some really good. Like I like Medellin. The Medellin's a really good one. Um, see, White Widow's good, but lately we've been smoking on just like Spacewalker OG, some gelatos, some Wonka bar, garlic cookies. Man, I think that's it, pretty much. We just get like a staple of strains that we like, and we buy a bunch of it.
So, are you breeding mainly from clone, or are you doing some pheno hunting?
Both. We're doing both. I started out with clones, as a lot of people might do with their breeding projects. A lot of stuff that um, is going to be worked will be my own personal projects from here on out. But I'm still going to keep original clones, to bring the progeny back into the original parental stock later on. So I'll keep some of the stuff that I like the original Gorilla Glue, the Cell Mango, the Mango, the Blueberry Rhino I might keep around, the Gorilla Breath I'm definitely keeping around, the White Widow I'm keeping around. Um, The Medellin, that's a frosty one hit quit. Like I love that one. That really does it for me. That's a good one. We got some cherry limeade kind of crosses, and I'm working with those phenos, kind of pulling out all the herms or any traits that I don't want out of that batch, and then going with the stuff that I like. So, I mean, now I'll be working with all my own stock from the next from this. I got a couple projects that are all from my own stock this season, but they're just small ones. So next season is going to be all from my own stock. Pop in a bunch of seeds this season after October.
There a specific flavor profile out of your own stock that you're looking to create?
Yeah, the Mountain Blue, Mountain Dew flavor, and then I'm usually going for like the more like chronic, one hit, or the gassy flavor, or anything unique that I might pull out of there. But the direction I'm going for is mainly that, and then I want to find like the grapes in the Plumberry Blast. I want to find the grapes in the chronic grapes. Maybe we'll find some. I want to find those purple flavors, the old school purple tones or cushy, you know. I don't know. I'm just trying to find my own little grape strains because I really like grape flavors, and they remind me of some of the old school perps and some of the old school grape ape and the God Bud. Some of that old school, real fucking dark, frosty, white indica leaf shit.
Some purple fig or grape fago.
Yeah. So I mean, just mainly gas and a couple different flavors. Um, the blueberry rhino, I just love the structure off of it. It just grows so big. The nugs are awesome. Um, of course, the white rhino and the blueberry, it's just two bomb strains. Um, the white widow is a classic. The so mango is just awesome chronic mango flavor. The old man, and then the so mango is a cross called mango. That one's really cool because it's more purple. It has more of a sativa. It's like a purple sativa, which is interesting. So that works more for my lady. It's the sativa stuff. So I breed both indica and sativas because what may work for me may not work for my lady, and vice versa. So, you know, like I said earlier, I cycle through a lot of strains, and we smoke pretty much sativas and indicas all day.
So, what are some of the weirder things you've seen in your girl career and your breeding projects there?
Some of the weird things
Seen
that
some
I've seen,
misfits?
like morphologies, misfits, and mutations.
Yeah.
So I like seeing every once in a while I'll see like certain cannabis structures from certain cultivars will adapt other cultivars growing growth structure or pattern or whatever you want to call it. So you got like a plant grows real viney or real tall or Christmas tree like, you know, and then you put say like you put a viney plant around a bunch of Christmas tree plants, and sometimes either that viney plant will actually start growing like Christmas trees, like the other ones around it, or vice versa. One of the Christmas tree plants or a few of them around that viney looking plant will start growing with a vine structure too. So that's been witnessed in multiple cases, but I've seen that once or twice. And I've seen it once out here this season where one plant started growing like that, that was right next to a plant that grew like that. And I was like, well, that plant used to grow a whole different way. Like the leaf pattern, the structure, everything was all different. And then now since it's growing next to this one that looks all, like a web foot with three leaves, this one started growing that way. And I just couldn't find any other reason or attribute that could have caused it because they were all growing good and there's no like any effects or deficiencies or anything. So I'm just like, well, what the fuck? They just started growing like that one, you know. So then other than that, I've seen some like duck foot looking stuff. I've got some freak show pollen I'm going to be using this season. It was gifted to me by buddy Ollie Jeans, Zach. And so Ollie Jeans, Olympia Genetics. And then, ooh, I don't know. I got a bunch of different pollen saved up. So I'll let you guys know once I bust it all out and decide what I want to pair up with what. But I usually post about everything that I'm doing. If people want to pay attention to my Instagram feed, I usually, leave details in the posts and stuff like that about what I'm doing. If anybody has questions, they can always ask. But yeah, I got a lot of projects and a lot of stuff that's up on the website. There's plenty of information. I'm gonna get more stuff on Seed Finder EU. So that's what I got to start working on is getting all my genetic information uploaded to the fucking database. So that way people can just open up the fucking map or the little graphs and see the genealogy and the history, the lineage of all the strains that I've created. I'm just lazy. What is it? What are you starting?
Well, this is a Dairy Queen.
Okay.
TGA Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
And it was the only one that popped out of that old pack.
Oh,
and
shit.
This one came up weird. First of all, it came up taproot first.
Oh, whoa.
And I pulled it out of the cube and I flipped it back over and I put it and I lightly pushed it back into the cube and I kind of set the thing back on top of there. And it made it.
Oh, wow.
But then I transplanted it into the dirt here, and in every new leaf, every new stage of growth is a single. It's not doubles.
Yeah.
Like usually come up in pairs. So it comes up one, and
Mm.
then the next stage of your life will come up over here, and it's just been a spiral.
Whoa.
So 1, 3, every stage has been a one-sided, not a dual-sided. They're not pairs.
That's weird. Damn.
Yeah,
What
you
did
never
you
seen that?
have you ever had any do you pop in like toilet paper or paper tissue?
I put it in root riot cubes. Is how I like to pop them. I
Oh yeah,
soak the
you
root
pop them in
riot
the cube.
cubes.
Okay, you don't
Yeah.
germinate in toilet paper or tissue paper or anything like that?
No, my only other method usually would be the water soak. I
Yeah.
like to see them crack, and then I will put them in a pre-soaked uh, solo cup because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people like to water after they put that seed in there, which is a mistake because it can drive it further down and it may not crack ever because it's so deep. So I like to pre-wet my soil, then well, soak them first, see them crack, and then put them in my soil. But if I'm putting them straight to the soil, same method. Soak that soil first, and then drop it in there and push a little bit of dirt on top instead
Yeah.
of putting it in there and watering it. Because a lot of times it will drive it further down.
Yeah, I found that those like rock wool or grow down or anything like that because I clone a lot in that, in the little cubes and stuff, and but germinating seeds, I found that those dry out way too fast. I germinate typically in a paper tissue or yeah, paper towel or tissue paper or whatever you want to call it. Not toilet paper. It always kills them. So then, you just fold it up wet, you know, inside of a bag, of course, and let the fucking seeds germinate the roots and then pull them out, put them in. But I put them in soil. I never have had good success with germination in those rock wool cubes, unfortunately. And maybe because I just didn't water it enough, I don't have enough. I don't know if I just don't have the attention to go in there and water it a bunch of times because I'm not the guy that likes to go in there and look in my room like 50 times a day. I just like check it twice, once in the morning, once at night, and that's it. Maybe once in the middle if I have work to do, but that's it. I don't like looking in there too much because every time I open the door, I just think that's another, chance for contamination. So I just go in there as least as possible and I take off all my shoes and clothes and all that shit. And so sometimes I'll just go in there in the morning in my boxers, and just go in there and do everything I need to do real quick and then get out and then get dressed for the day and then, continue on. And then at night I'll get undressed, clean all my shit, get cleaned up and try to make sure there's nothing on me and then go in there, try to just not have any clothes on when I go in there in my grow room, typically. Because that's just a vector, your clothing holds so many fucking bugs from walking outdoors and all that shit, and I'm in Washington, so there's bugs everywhere. So it's best for me just to go in my garden with the least amount of clothes or clean clothes on. That's what I do. Never put any shoes in my grow room. Always take them off. Sandals, shoes, everything comes off. It's like a habit, like a ritual. I got a little towel that's at the bottom of my door. It's sitting about like 8 or 9 inches above the crack of the door, so no air or dust or anything can suck into the room or blow in and out. Nothing like that. So I just don't want no contamination or anything.
Speaking of contamination, there, when you're doing your breeding projects, are
Yeah.
you running like same studs, multiple females, and then wiping down the rooms if you're changing studs?
Um, I'm not gonna do any breeding in this room after I've already bred once. So I've washed everything down. I'm gonna do another rinse. I've got some clones going in there, so I'm not really worried about it. I just gotta wash the walls off and do some, minor cleaning around the edges. But I mean, I'm not worried about any pollination on this crop because it's gonna be all just straight female. I've got all the pollen saved from past projects in just in little boxes and fucking aluminum wrapped up, saved. And I'll be working that a couple more times and some other stuff, and then back into some other things. But other than that, I don't keep males around. I usually just keep the pollen around, and then if I find that the progeny or anything is good from it, then I might keep that batch of pollen around. I'm going to start getting rid of some pollen if I don't like, what comes of the progeny or whatever. I just don't, I don't, it doesn't last forever. So I'll give it out, let people play with it. There's like a shelf life for male pollen.
So, can you give some tips on collecting and storing pollen?
Yeah. I mean, paper bag is the best method. Take all the green leaf material out of there. Just wait for the males, uh, yellow bananas to open up, and that's when it starts dusting. And then I just put it in the paper bag, seal it up, tape it, not all the way sealed, but just tape it and then let it dry, and store it up in a dry, cool area or whatever. And then I've taken lately, I like to take aluminum foil and I'll just take the aluminum foil and make like a little boat and then just take the fucking branch and just go shake it on top of the aluminum and then take all the individual branches and just shake it on top of the aluminum and then pull out all the little bananas that fall, all the little fucking fresh pollen or leaves or anything that fall down in there. So it's all pollen in that fucking aluminum foil or whatever. And then you just fold it up like an envelope and then fucking fold it again and then put it inside of a plastic bag. And I've been storing it in my, little cedar chest or a little wood cabinet, instead of a cardboard box. So the pollen's been lasting for, up to 3 to 6 months that I've been testing, and all of it's still been viable after 6 months. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm storing it good. I'll be testing it in a few months, or in about a month. I'll be pollinating with the same pollen I've pollinated with the last few projects. So I'll be running it, testing it again to see if it's just as viable. You know,
A little easier to keep things under control like that, I would think, than just
yeah,
letting those males
I don't want plant
just
like a bunch
go.
of males, growing in my fucking, veg room or whatever, veg tent or whatever I have going on. I just don't have the space for a bunch of males. It's hard enough to keep the clones and the females that I want to keep around, because they don't always survive. Shit happens.
I do know. I do.
So I get a lot of stuff from
So,
people, have it already. So I'm not worried about losing anything.
so how do you, since you're also a hash artist, how do you prefer to dry your cannabis?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I dry my cannabis, just hang dry the whole plant, cut at the base of the stalk, de-leaf all the water leaves, dry it for 2 or 3 days. 60-60 is the preferred method, 60 degrees, 60% humidity, keep it at that. And then I take it down and put it in my wood cedar chest, and I'll cut the branches off the stalk and just put the branches laid out on parchment paper inside my big cedar chest that my laptop is sitting on right now. And it's a 6 drawer, and it can hold up, I don't know, man. It's held a lot of fucking plants in here. So I'm guessing I'm gonna need to find some other methods of drying it because I'll have a little bit more this season. But yeah, cedar chests, cedar box, cardboard box. I've really put a lot of plants in cardboard boxes to let them dry. So that's just all the larf and stuff. All the top nugs I'll treat with a little bit more care, but all the larf I'll just throw in like paper bags or cardboard boxes, let it dry up, and then use it for hash. With all the bottom plant nugs. The midsection and the top nugs are what you really want to keep for smoking, but the rest of it's just like hash.
So, do you notice the cedar taste at all when you've
Cedar?
tried it in yeah, when you've tried
No,
it in the cedar chest? None.
none. No, this is old cedar. I think this dress is from like the 70s or something. Old. It came from this old war vet, older gentleman that passed away. He lived next door. It was his. So we got a bunch of his stuff when he passed away. But it's just a cedar chest. It's nice. You can find a lot of different cedar chests. This is just a cheap, basic one. There's old ones that are thick and expensive, but just find like a cedar box or a cedar chest, and it dries it out pretty, cures it really well, because it just pulls the right amount of moisture out and retains the right amount of moisture in there. And then I jar it up, of course, put it in mason jars after the stems crack, and then boom, flip it off the stalks and put it in the little mason jars. Do you wet trim or dry
Have
trim?
you what? I prefer to wet trim myself,
I
to be
never do
honest
it.
with
I don't like the chlorophyll smell
you.
that comes off of it. But that's just me. I have a sensitive nose.
Yeah, I prefer to trim wet, nice and close. Whatever is left usually recedes pretty nicely into the bud there.
This is wet trim nug. It's gelato 33 and it's fire. But for me, like when I'm trimming it and that smell of chlorophyll hits my nose, I don't like it. To me, for some reason, when I'm trimming it like that and I go to dry it and then at the end I go to smoke it, I think I'm telling myself that it tastes like chlorophyll so much, or it's going to, that it like my mind tricks me into thinking that it's not good. So every time like I do that, like I feel like I'm setting myself up, like I'm programming myself. This isn't gonna be good, you know. So I smoke it. I'm like, oh, it could have been better, you know. So I'm already like fucking myself up, you know. I don't know. I'm just weird like that. I just let it dry and let all the fucking leaves wrap around the nuggets, and that way it like protects and retains like a cocoon, and it protects all those trichomes so you don't damage them while like drying it or moving it around or anything. And then when you're ready to smoke it, you just break it free from its cocoon, its little fucking leaf protection, and then you got that like glistening, you know, just juicy, glandular, fucking trichome rich nugget, you know, and you don't even want to touch it with your fingers. It's so greasy. You're like, you feel like it's a sin to touch it, you know, and break it up. But you have to because you got to pack it in the bowl and roll it. You know, I don't know. I'm a little bit weird when it comes to like how I treat my plants after I harvest them. I don't like, you know, throw them around or toss them on the ground or I'm just I hate like dog hair and cat hair. I get real like nitpicky about, you know, tweezing out all the hairs, and most of the time I just get pissed off and I'm like, oh fuck it, if there's too much hair, I'm throwing it straight in the hash. Fuck it.
You know, as of late, you know, I used to buy into a lot of what you're saying there, and I'm sure there's a lot of truth to that, to where the leaves coming around are protecting the bud there a little bit. But as of late, as the more I kind of dive into the organics and a little bit, I think there's a little bit more to that. You know, to be honest with you, I think that there is something to that. Yay, that that them leaves are protecting the bud some, but I'm now kind of more leaning to they're providing the plant more moisture and nutrients
Mm,
to kind of go to their next stage. So they're kind of using them leaves to kind of, as much like a rose does when you cut it. You can keep it alive for a few days if it has moisture and a little bit of nutrients. I think the cannabis plant is doing the same thing. If it's got them extra leaves in there, it's drawing nutrients out of there, and it's trying its damnedest to stay alive and go through its last phases. And I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
there's a
What are your
younger
thoughts?
gentleman, his name's Sunny Landgrow. He works up at Dutch Bloom, Josh's farm here in Bellingham, Washington, and he talked to me when I was up there, and he was kind of saying, you know, he believes um, that when I don't know if he believes this, but he was telling me that when you leave the seeds in the nuggets, you know, it holds like a microbe or like an embryonic kind of like cocoon of microbes, and like it just protects the seed. And when you dry the plant out with the seed and you let it go full term and you let the plant, you know, the flower dry out on the stalk and all that, that the seeds are way more viable. So that's what I've been doing. I've been running some of my plants. I'll harvest, you know, normally. Other plants I'll let go a couple more weeks when they're seeded, and then I'll let the other plants just go like as long as they can, you know, just dry out till they're brown, and then harvest the seeds, you know. And I'll find that like the ones that I dried out the longest, those germination and the way that those seeds look, they just look so like healthy, and I don't know, they just have way more ridges and like they're shinier. They just look healthier. So I think that leaving that seed in the nuggets as long as possible before actually taking out and then throwing in a fucking plastic vial instead of a fucking cardboard sleeve or whatever, you know, I think it's probably better to leave it in there, you know, as long as possible before you pop it in the ground. So I've been leaving a lot of the seeds that I've been harvesting with a lot of that plant material and in some of the nuggets of the material that I've processed just for hash. You know, I've tumbled it or dry sifted for, you know, kief and shit, and made rosin and all that from it. But yeah, I'd like to I like to see the differences in things. I like to run my own tests on small scales or whatever and just see what everybody's acclaiming or claiming, as far as how long they hold their seeds and when they harvest them or whatever, and all their different methods of storage on pollen and seeds. I put all this shit that everybody talks about to test, and I just do it in my own time, and I talk about it maybe with you on here or maybe with my buddy when I meet up with them here or there, whatever, shit like that. But I just do
So
it
are
more
you?
curious.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
You're
cut you
cool.
off. I was just gonna ask you if you're associated with or a part of. It sounds like you know a lot of the same people. The Pacific Northwest 47 there. Uh,
Uh, I know a lot of different people up here. This is my home state. I've been getting a lot of my genetics and a lot of different genetics from different farms and different people, different growers, breeders around here, and working with different people, collaborating with different people on projects and um, different people in different states as well, like paraplegic Pappy. Um, he's a pretty cool dude. He's in a wheelchair and whatnot. I send him stuff, and he did some projects with the unicorn sherbert pollen that I sent him. That was from a feminized pack of seeds where I pulled a male out of the feminized unicorn sherbert from Colt Classics, and I let them know about it, and they said that I was the second person to pull a male out of their feminized packs, and they said that it was a rare occurrence that does happen with feminized packs. So, and I understood. I was like, I'd already been informed about that long before. So I was like, oh, cool, whatever. And they're like, we'll send you a free pack. And I was like, oh, well, fuck yeah, I didn't even pay for these. Like, hell yeah, that's cool. So they were really cool about it. And I even offered to send them pollen because to me, I didn't learn this till after I collected and bred the pollen into some of the cultivars, but they're saying that that could be a double X male, double X chromosome male. So if you know what that is, if you know about genetics or different pairs of chromosomes and having multiple pairs in feminized crosses and stuff and diploids and triploids and all that. I'm just barely getting into all that, so you can't ask me too many questions. I don't really know. I'm just barely learning, but all that is interesting, and so um, yeah, I forgot where I was going.
so if you do find a male like
Oh yeah,
that, what would be some of the benefits of keeping it?
so yeah, that's what I was getting at. So like finding that male, it's a double X chromosome male, so it's gonna pass on the female traits that you find in those flowers into through I guess with the male into the other females that you breed with. So there's going to be I don't even know. It's like a unicorn within a unicorn. So I bred
Basically, it sounds like everything he touches will be have a higher percentage of females the
it's
next
gonna
round. No,
I think it
genetic.
might have some drastic effect. I haven't ran the progeny too much, but I have Afgoo that I crossed it to, and I have blueberry. So I have blueberry unicorn and Afghan unicorn seeds. And so I haven't ran any of those out yet, and I'm really curious. This season I'm running those out. So I just know that after crossing it, that was going to be a special project to play with. So kind of
Yeah,
excited.
it sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. I think American one's asking pretty much the same question here. Ask him if the male only made fem seeds.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea because I haven't ran any of the progeny yet. So that's going to be an interesting thing to play around with.
It's definitely an interesting venture with cannabis, the breeding there.
and I did it
I
simply
like to listen to it. Go ahead.
I
Cut
did it
you off.
simply out of
Sorry.
curiosity for just because I thought it was so rare, to even hear about, finding a male and feminized seeds, that I was like, well, what the fuck? This is just a rare thing. I might as well just collect the pollen and play with it and see what happens. And I started learning about feminized breeding and different like pairing bad genetics and having multiple sets of chromosomes with feminized seeds and pairing two sets of bad genetics and all this shit. Like it gets real deep in a rabbit hole. It's a Pandora's box is what I've been hearing people call it when you feminize seeds. You can find some diamonds, and then you can find some really wonky ass fucked up, genetics in there too. Or maybe things we don't even know about yet.
Yeah. So what do you think about taking pollen from a sun in general? It sounds like you're not so crazy about it.
From a fem,
Yeah.
well, I only cross the two plants just to play around with. I'm not really like interested in feminized gear. I have some stuff that I've worked with that has cookies, that has, stuff in it that might have hermaphroditic tendencies, but not stuff that I've been working with. I just know that cookies does have hermaphroditic tendencies from what I hear. So I'm always careful. I just don't want none of that crap. I don't want any fem. I don't want to play with any fem projects. I don't want to use any whatever SLS or whatever they call that chemical to spray on fucking plants. So I don't do that kind of breeding. Not interested in it. I'm interested in what everybody else is doing with it, and I listen to all their fucking stories and how they're doing it and what's happening with it and all that. And I love the science behind it, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm just going to sit back and watch all them people do it and then get my general consensus at the end after like 5 or 10 years of watching them play with shit. So I'm only 30. I'll be here another at least 50 years or so, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm still a little tore on the film side of things. I don't really care to see them in breeding projects, to be honest with you. I dead set against people like pulling pollen from a fem to breed with. They find a fem that throws some nanners, and then they harvest that fucking pollen for later breeding projects. Myself, I kind of think is a recipe for disaster. I mean, if the pollen were collected from a plant or a fem later in the stage, you know what I mean? She's finished out, she's ripened, and then she's throwing a banana. I think at that point she's throwing everything she has to offer. But I think if you're collecting pollen from a fem any other time, she's just kind of putting out more fem traits. That's kind of my thought behind it. Or
Yeah,
more herm traits. I'm sorry, I should have said more herm. It's going to pass on more herm traits if it's collected any other time. That late shot for life banana there. I think anything before that, it's just going to invite herm traits.
yeah, yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say right now, but yeah. Um, if anybody has any questions in the chat or anything like that, um, let me know. It's getting kind of late. It's 11, no, 10:30 over here where I'm at. What time is it over there?
134 over here in Michigan.
Oh yeah, we got a long day tomorrow, so I'll probably call it quits here in a couple minutes. Getting hella tired, but
No
I'm glad
worries, brother.
that you invited me on. If anybody has any questions, anything specific, I can chill for a little bit longer.
You got to give them a couple minutes. They're like in a 20-second delay. So
Yeah,
whatever we
yeah.
say, so tell we give
Oh,
them an opportunity for a question. Go ahead.
So real quick, so I was just gonna say, my uncles and a lot of some old school, growers and people that I admire and look up to, mostly, cannabis growers and people that spread the knowledge. A lot of those people, especially my uncles, they told me how to do things the right way. I went to school, learned how to do things, and so I just kind of sit back and watch everybody, and I kind of play dumb a lot of times, and then I look at all the new stuff and all the shit that everybody's coming out with, and I just kind of sit back and I watch it, and I'm like, I'm a bit of like this skeptic, skeptic and conspiracy theorist, and my uncle's always told me anything new they try to push on you, it's all bullshit. Just stick to this method, organic, do it natural. Otherwise, just fuck all the rest, and I mean, so they taught me how to do shit right, and then I went to school, and so I mean, I was like, well, I'm always just gonna grow natural, always gonna grow organic, and so I just always look at everything and question it, and just I test a lot of things before I even fucking apply it to my method, which is just soil, sunlight, and rain. But usually, if I'm growing indoors, I try to buy, if I'm going to go for something organic, I mix it up, mix my own soil. Subcool had a cool mix. Soil King has some cool bags of soil. There's Royal Gold has good stuff. There's Bio 365. There's a few good companies, we can get some good soil from. I just don't know too many to recommend. All the stuff that I've worked with has been come contaminated with fucking pests, or just was blank, in my opinion. This shit was just blank mediums, blank blocks of fucking shit. And I have to put my own drying minutes, have to put my own, you know, uh, just different. You have to bring it back to life. And that takes time. It takes a long time, 6 months, 3 to 6 months, really, just to get it going. And then, like, after that, you want to let it sit for like a year, year and a half before you use it. Honestly, that's just what
I
I
do
was
have a
taught.
couple of questions here.
I was taught to do it for the long
This,
haul, not for the quick shit, not a quick return.
that should be for anything, any endeavor you take on. I think do it right the first time. Make it sustainable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not to say that I don't like
Ted West.
appreciate or respect any other grow method or anything like that. I smoke it all day long. I smoke all the different grow methods, but I prefer one. And because I've been through a lot of different cannabis, I've smoked so many different varieties. I've smoked the good and the bad. I've been to Arizona. I've lived there and smoked a lot of different commercial Mexican Reggie. I've smoked the good commercial Christmas regs that's, lime green and frosty and sticky and skunky. I've had a lot of different variations of Colombian or old school pot. And then I've had all the chronic that started up here in Washington in the early 90s and the early 2000s. So a lot of California pot, would float up here, but mostly I had California pot when I was down in Arizona because it would just move that way. So we would move it that way after I got old enough to drive.
Chad Westport in chat wants to know up there. Basically, do you have some of your seeds and clones in the Washington med system?
In Washington, what?
In the med system.
Um, yeah, I have it in. I've had Josh from Dutch Bloom grow some of my stuff. He's bred with my Gorilla Glue G13. He's got a few of my plants. He's bred with them. I bred with his. We swap clones. That's pretty much the only person I know of right now that has my stuff for sure. There's other places in Arizona that have all my gear. There's dispensaries and people that work in dispensaries that obtain all my gear in bulk orders. Um, Arizona Natural Concepts. You can hit up MTC 3D Printing. He sells all my gear down there. Mosum Genetics. I'm going to be teaming up with him. Hopefully, there's a few people that I've been working with. There's commercial cultivation facilities that I'm going to be working with here in the future. Like I said, Sweetwater Aquaponics. I'm sending some of my stuff to Africa. I've sent my stuff to Hawaii, Florida, the Midwest, Mississippi. I've sent my stuff all over the place, at least 25 different states already. Because I just know a lot of different people in the industry, and I just sent it to them. Like Missy from Mystic Grower, I've got a lot of her projects. She's got all of my projects. Like there's quite a few people that have my stuff, and I just gave it to them. I just sent it to them because I wanted them to have it. They wanted to grow it. But yeah, I just trade things. Most of what I do is trading. A lot of people don't know, but I do a lot of fucking trading with people and a lot of cool people in the industry. I just trade because they want my stuff. I don't, necessarily know why, but they just want it to test out or to have. It is old school genetics, but I just want to have their stuff. They want to have my stuff. That's the thing to do. When you have, you know, when you're a breeder, you just trade things with other breeders. There's no point in like buying their stuff, they're buying your stuff. It's like trade stuff. Like, what's the point of even getting money involved? It's just dumb at that point. To me, I don't like really money. It's stupid. I'd rather just trade things. I've been a barterer my whole life. I just grew up that way, trading and bartering and then exchanging services, working, helping people. So,
Oh, definitely love training. Now, Missy was here earlier in chat showing you some
oh,
love, by the way.
I haven't been reading the chat, guys. I'm so fucking sorry about that. I love you guys. Much love for all the support. It's a lot for me to like handle like chat and this at the same time because I just like to get high and talk. So chatting, doing the chat
They
and
showed
talking my neck off is kind of hard.
they showed up tonight to see us, by the way. There's so
Oh
far,
man,
I think
thank
we've
you.
hit 80. There's still 75 right now watching. Cheers to you guys, man.
Much love. I appreciate the support. I I really I
Uh,
enjoy doing this. I love everything about cannabis. I just love to breed. That's just what I enjoy doing in my spare time. And so I just figured if I just put myself out there, in what I do, um, and just try to educate and help everybody, maybe that'll put my legacy out there, as well as the seeds that are out there already.
Shout out to Lemon Hoko in chat. I was talking about you, Lemon, just a little while
That's
ago for
oh, go ahead.
47 there.
Oh yeah, Pacific Northwest 47.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out, bro. Hopefully I'll see you at the Autoflower Cup. I think you're going, right? But no, like a lot of breeders and a lot of growers, man, we're all outlaws. So you know, just it's just the way the game goes, you know. You might, a lot of people have been busted for growing weed and doing shit like that in the past. So I mean, some people like Subcool, was on the run. Some people are just on the run and just for marijuana. You know what I mean? So, there's a lot of people that are on the run for marijuana just for being busted in certain states. They just wrap up and then dip to another state and then just keep continuing on with their life. So, shit like that happens. And so my legacy is more important to me. Um, just, just you know, just to see that and to see the strains floating around in other people's garden and to see them enjoy it and get the medicinal value that I get from that. That's what I enjoy out of life. I go around and I just enjoy my days because I treat it like my days are numbered. I feel like every day is important. You got to live your life to the fullest. And if I do that, if I walk that way, maybe other people will start to walk that way and enjoy and just live their life to the fullest as well, and just hopefully their legacy and the way that they walk, maybe they'll start to walk better and start to leave a better, name for themselves behind, versus, just not having any meaning or direction or anything like, um, no matter what, no matter what anybody tells you, just keep continuing doing what you want to do, regardless of what anybody says. Just find what makes you happy and continue to roll with it. Because I've had people tell me that I can't do this and I won't become nobody, and smoking weed ain't gonna, I'm not gonna become shit. I've had that my whole fucking life. And all I did was said, fuck it, I know what I want to do, what makes me happy. That's all I want. Whatever they say is just whatever they say. I just continue to do what makes me happy. If they don't like it, fuck them. So I just do it because I want to. So I just hope that maybe if I walk that way, other people will too. And just don't even pay attention to the naysayers. Just keep doing what you like to do.
Very well said, my friend. Very well said. Uh, well, with that being said, and you having a very long day ahead of you, I think this would be a good time to start wrapping things up a little bit.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
well, first of all, couple of things. Well, actually, there's a few things here. First of all, I want to thank you for taking time out to hang out. By myself another episode, by Chad another evening to hang out. Thank you very much. Secondly, I'd like to apologize. I did before we got on air, but again, publicly for butchering your name night after night in the shout outs.
It's all good. No, I get it like every day. No, it's there's a whole bunch of different names up here because most of the stuff is like Tulalip tribe and different tribes, Native American tribes. They name the land up here. So I live in Mukilteo. Like there's the Strait of Juan de Fuca where the water drops down into the Puget Sound, and then you got like all these different islands. There's like 200 plus islands. There's like so many names for all the different places. So and they're all different weird names like Sky Comish, just different names that you've never really heard of. So yeah, you'll get mixed up on a lot of different pronunciation, like just trying to pronounce all these different names and words up here. But it's cool. That's what makes it so like culturally rich and diverse and different up here. They got a lot of like roots and heritage. So, yeah. But yeah, let's end this on a note. Let's do your little jingle like you do with everybody else.
So yeah, basically from then on, hopefully you know the deal, how things work around here. Since you've done the spotlight episode, that does open you up for the wormhole. You have an open invitation for that. Anytime you see a wormhole, you'd like to kind of come on, hang out, talk cannabis or whatever. You do not need an invitation. I don't have to reach out for you. All you got to do is want to. It's the same Zoom link. So please keep that Zoom link in case you ever want to come hang out again. It's been a great conversation. I can see you have a lot to contribute to the community. So please, take me up on that. Myself, I'd enjoy it. I know they would enjoy it as well. So
yeah.
that invitation does start tonight, by the way. So anytime, my friend. Mondays, I don't know if you know the routine, but Monday night is guaranteed wormhole night. Any other night, wormholes are short shows, basically. Follows the wormhole follows shorter shows. So open invitation for that from now on. Hopefully you will take me up on that. The other thing I'd like to get from you, of course, is the soundbite. Hopefully you know how that goes as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm ready. Let me throw the record on here.
Yeah.
There you go. Anytime you're ready, my friend.
This is Puget Sound Seeds on Talking Shit with the Eagle.
Thank you, my friend, and enjoy yourself tomorrow. Hopefully that long day is packed with fun and for you. So
yeah, it's been a busy last few days. We're getting ready for the Autoflower Cup. If you guys haven't heard or checked it out, check out the Autoflower Cup 2021. That's where we'll be at the next event, August 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's a 3-day camping event. There'll be nice food. There'll be a nature walks. We'll be mushroom hunting. It'll be just fucking awesome, chill vibes. Everybody's gonna be kicking it. Bring your own buds. Come enjoy.
Hell yeah, it sounds like a good time. Sounds like a really good time, man. Cannabis community is great. Anytime that we get together, man, I've never once been to a bad event. Big, small, as long as there's a few people there willing to talk cannabis and smoke, I consider it a win myself.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. No, I've been to a couple events where we've even been shut down by the cops, and it was still a good event. I get it.
Well, I'd almost think that since it was shut down by the cops, you would. It's almost a gimme there, isn't it? That it was such a good time they had to come in and shut her down.
Oh yeah, we were having too much fun, man. That was actually Secret Sesh in Arizona. That was funny. Well,
Hey, brother. Well, I'll let you get to it. Thanks again for coming. It's an
yeah.
open invitation. Anything you want to throw out one last time? You want to throw out that website, the Instagram, all that good stuff?
Yeah, sure. So if you want to give me a holler, we do education, information, rosin pressing demonstrations. You can hit up PugetSoundSeeds.co, or you can hit up www.PugetSoundSeeds.com. That's PugetSoundSeeds.com. Thank you guys. It was awesome having being on here tonight and talking
Well,
to you and everything.
oh man, it's been great having you. With that being said, you guys know the routine. Random acts of kindness do save lives. Don't be afraid to do one. With that, we are out of here. Thank you again, Puget Sound Seeds. Been a great episode. Have an amazing day.
Been great, guys.
We are out of here.
Stay
Peace.
blessed.